greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. That's a very famous quote from the movie The Usual Suspects from 1995. When I talk about the devil, I'm not talking about it in a religious sense. I'm talking about it in relationship to narcissism and really coming to terms with the fact that narcissists are not good people. Are they 100% evil? Probably not. There are people that are evil. There are the hardcore psychopaths, who have no conscience at all and are very dangerous, but there's a spectrum to narcissism, and a lot of people fall somewhere in the middle. And that doesn't mean they're not still doing harm. So it's still really important for us to keep that perspective. I would love to believe there's good in everyone. I mean, it would just mean that everyone's redeemable. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. It's part of that radical acceptance, the idea that sometimes we just have to look at something at face value and realize that that person's not going to change. It doesn't mean they're not harmed. It doesn't mean that person doesn't have suffering. It doesn't mean that that person hasn't been through a lot in their life. Some people have been horribly abused, and that is why they ended up being the way they are. And many other people have also been abused and do not harm people. It's still a choice. And I think it's just so important to remember for our own health, for the health of people around us, for our mental well-being, that some people are just not redeemable. Some people cannot be helped. And all we can do in this case is help ourselves. It's not our job to fix them. It's not our job to martyr ourselves to try and make that person better in some way. I mean, it's not our job with anyone to do that, except possibly our own kids when they're still young and can't fend for themselves. So coming back to the original quote about the idea of convincing the world the devil doesn't exist, this idea about narcissists that, oh, but they don't really mean it, or they're really not bad people, or, the idea of good in everyone. That's what really struck me about that quote, because when I talk about the devil, I talk about it more in a sense of all the people out there doing so much harm and getting away with it because people want to give them the benefit of the doubt. That needs to stop for our own protection.